Zidane Danny, Electro Ninja here. I am finally talking about Dragon Prince. Oh man. So this season of Dragon Prince was honestly amazing. Like, if you guys have not actually checked out Dragon Prince yet, go do that. Because this is going to contain spoilers. Um, But I'm basically going to be talking a little bit about what's going to be going on in the future of videos here, but I will be talking a little bit about what has happened so far in the actual show. So, first off, what has happened in the past for Dragon Prince? Obviously, first the first season they transported the egg to the Moonwell, where Callum broke the Primal Stone in order to let Zim be born. And that was pretty much it. They met Rayla, all this jazz, and it was mostly an introduction to the characters. Animation, not the best, but we could deal with it. We could grow with what they were doing. And honestly, most of the reason that it was lacking is because of the fact that they really weren't certain how well it was going to do. And literally every season since has grown in quality. That's not an exaggeration. It has literally grown in quality. Season 2, they make it to they fight their way through the rest of it with baby Zim being alive and kicking, and eventually Callum learns the Sky Arcanum, and we get to see him cast his first spell without any help. And it's obviously Aspro, because that's what he knows. Obviously, we never... At that time, I was pretty sure that he was never going to use any other spells with wind, because it's his breath. Like, maybe there would be a few things, but it's pretty small and not going to be the best options. Obviously, there's Fulminous, but that would... And maybe that would show up, but it never did. At least in that season. Then they make it to Zadia, with Ezran leaving to go be king, which honestly was kind of a weird situation to begin with. Like, I'm glad he became king, but do they really have to do it the way they did? I don't know. That was kind of a weird situation, to say the least. If you guys have seen this season, you know what I'm talking about. But this season, season 3, was amazing. So first off, we get to know a little bit more about this first character, the very first dark mage, or whatever you want to call him, who Erebos... it's very clear that Erebos, or whatever the hell his name is, I keep forgetting his name because he literally never mentions it. Erebos never mentions his name ever again. It's like 1 time, no, 2 times, 3 times, 3 times in 1 episode, and that's it. Nothing else. And that was all in season 2. Nothing about this character makes sense. Why is he nowhere to be found? Why does nobody talk about this guy? He's like very dangerous. But it's very clear that he gave his dark magic to a certain person. I was actually under the impression that that dark mage that was shown in the very beginning of every single season was going to end up being Viren. Or what? Is that what his name is? I think that's his name. And basically Soren's dead, yeah. And honestly, it's so weird to now realize that he's not. He's the character may look like him, and honestly, I'm still under the impression that he could very easily be him. But it's actually more clear that that character actually knew who Erebos was because of the fact that he was given the staff by him, and we get to find out why the fire dragon doesn't have sight anymore because he was literally the sight was literally stolen from him by that guy, by that evil wizard. And honestly, I'm really intrigued to see more about who this character was, and is he actually someone that's connected to Viren? But in the actual story, they escape from the dragon, which was awesome. Getting to see Callum continue to use magic, which I do have to say it's annoying that the dragon hates Callum, and it's never brought up again. Like, actually, like, every single person that ever meets Callum since the dragon doesn't care that he's human at all. Like, what? He's not. He's human. No one cares. Well, yes, there are characters that obviously do care, but it's like, what? So first, there's obviously the husband of Runan. I never remember what his name is, but he's that one wizard guy from the Moon Village or whatever, who actually cares a lot about Rayla. And it's honestly really touching to see that this guy really does care about Rayla and is immediately able to understand what's going on and wants to help her, even though he thought that she betrayed his husband. It's honestly amazing. It's an amazing character that I think was really well developed. And I'm excited to see what they decide to do more with that. But obviously, there was a little bit of a hint in the later thing to see the flower underneath the water that was still glowing, which I'm pretty sure will rise up again after they free everyone from those little coins, aka a certain somebody's parents. But yeah, those guys got turned into coins, which, yes, it's seen later, but it's still something that's really cool to say. And obviously, there's Runan is still in a coin. And it's the same with a lot of the different characters. Later on, we get to meet another character who is able to fly and is a wind elf. I was really intrigued by her. Like, I think that they're going to do more with her, but I don't know. Like, obviously she was an awful character, but she's still a really interesting one, to say the least. I mean, I can't wait to see what they do with her. So that happened. And then, after that whole fight happens, they go off to the next area. They continue on, eventually making their way to the mountain. And we actually get to see the fight that killed the King of the Dragons, as well as the capturing of the egg. And holy cow, Rayla's parents are badasses. I'm sorry, but they really are. Those two characters, I want to see more of them because they're really cool. Obviously, throughout this entire time, there's a lot of problems with Ezran and the kingdom. People being all pissed off because of what Viren did. him going off, them marching towards Zadia to take over the place, fighting for the freedom, getting more people on their side. Lots of cool stuff that actually is really interesting that they actually decided to put a lot of stuff in the background. Because while there's actually all this stuff going on that's really important, they actually put something that you would think would be very important not happening in the background. In fact, it's actually only seen in the credits where Ezran's people who saved him from most likely being executed, let's be honest, actually go to see the other queen. I never remember what her name is. I honestly think that she and Ezran will get together though before too long. It will be a time skip. Don't worry, it's not going to be happening like soon. It's going to be happening far in the future, but they might like show at the end of the show that, oh yeah, these characters got together, they got married, just like how Callum and Rayla are going to get married. Sorry, I probably should have mentioned that earlier. They get into a relationship while they're in the desert, and it's honestly amazing how well they develop that relationship. These characters who were not the biggest fans of each other have over this entire time been growing closer and closer, and eventually they realize it for themselves. Obviously, it's really amazing that Rayla is the first one to make the move, but Rayla and Callum, they're so cute, and I'm so glad that they were able to get together because you could see the love that was blossoming between them. Obviously, more chaos ensues. They eventually make it to the top of the tower. Callum learns another spell, which is Last Breath, is able to save Soren as well as literally all of them to make it to the top of the mountain. We get to meet a new character who is another sky elf who is able to change his wings or change his arms into wings, which Callum wants to learn, which is really awesome. And needless to say, he will eventually learn that. It's actually a really awesome moment when he actually finally learns how to do it. So you can continue. Callum finds out what actually happened, tells Rayla about what happened to her parents. The Dragon Prince goes to see his mommy, even though she's dying. And the battle enters. Callum and all of the others start fighting, and it's honestly a great fight, especially to see Rayla standing up against Viren, who, holy cow, that fight was intense. And yeah, oh, that fight between Viren and Rayla, it was really good. And if you guys haven't seen it yet, go see it. I know that probably by this time you guys would have left because I've been doing a lot of spoilers. But eventually, victory is achieved, and Rayla shoots Viren off the cliff, which we assume is going to kill him, but we also know that this can't be the end of the story. We still have to deal with Erebos. We still have to deal with Claudia, who is, let's be honest, is becoming darker. And Viren doesn't really seem like he's at the end of his rope yet. I actually think that before too long he could be redeemed, but because, come on, this is a children's show. But it's an odd situation. They save the day, everyone's happy, elves and humans reunite. When Rayla falls, Callum jumps off the cliff. Like, literally, he jumps off the cliff just to save her. He doesn't give a crap about himself. If he cannot bring out some power to save the two of them, they will die. And he has not yet achieved the wings at this moment. He has painted the runes on his arms, but that's it. He just has the runes on his arms. He hasn't done anything with it yet. He just jumps off. He's failed to make the wings appear before, and he keeps saying the spell, trying to bring them out, and eventually he swoops in, catches her, and as she wraps her arms around his neck, the wings activate, and he is able to fly off with the two of them, saving both of their lives. And they share an air kiss, and it's honestly amazing. And elves and humans live together. The Dragon Queen lives. The Dragon Prince is reunited with his mother, and everyone goes off in their new ways to forge new peace between Xadia and the human world. And it's great. Now, obviously, there are a few moments that we're still waiting to see what is going to be come of them. Like, we still haven't seen much of Callum doing really any spells from any other arcanum except for the moon, which is how he learned how to use that spell. That he learned how to see what happened to Rayla's parents, which I can't wait to actually see if he's going to learn how to use the moon arcanum before too long. I actually think that he's actually going to go to the moon stone or whatever, and he's going to be learning how to do moon magic from that weird lady. And the same will go for a few other. I think he's going over the next few seasons. He is going to be learning how to do the other magic, but still nothing has come of the key. Basically, it's just showing all of these different magics. I actually believe that there's actually something to do with it. Erebos may have actually found the key when he was the first person to be able to use all of the magics. Then, when he was able to use all of the magics, he was able to do some great things for the world. But he also then he still wanted more power, which led him to dark magic. But Callum has turned against dark magic. While he has used it before, he hates it. He never wants to use it again. And because of that, he has grown. He has become a better character who is honestly never going to use dark magic again. While Erebos, who did succumb to the dark magic, as he was learning to use other magics, he will be the main antagonist for the rest of the show. And I actually think he's going to be what comes out of that cocoon. Yeah. Probably should have mentioned that. There's a cocoon at the end of this season that nobody really knows what it is. And I'm pretty sure that Erebos is going to be what comes out of it. Obviously, the key is still uncertain what it unlocks and all that jazz. But I do think that Callum will be learning how to use the other magics before too long. Probably learning how to use fire magic and earth magic and all of those other magics. Moon, light, whatever. I don't care. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the magics are. I need to learn more. And after he becomes after he learns all those magics, it's going to be really fun to see what the actual battle between him and Erebos. But honestly, that's it. There's not too much else to actually discuss. I think that there will be some really cool stuff that happens. Don't get me wrong. And yeah, I don't really know what else to explain. Obviously, a lot of cool things happened in Dragon Prince, and I will be doing some theories about what's going to be happening in the future. Especially considering the fact that Callum still needs to learn magic, and their father is going to be coming back. Like, holy cow, why are so few people talking about this? Like, literally everyone knows that um, his body is, or his soul is in the bird. Like, everyone knows it. Like, and I'm pretty sure that the bird escaped, which is actually the king. Um, so we'll see what happens, but right now, I don't know. We'll discuss that in future videos, but hopefully this little recap of season 3 was able to get you guys really excited for the theories, as well as, well, what's going to be happening in season 4. But anyways, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and ring that notification bell. But anyways, guys, I've been Electro Ninja, and I will see you guys next time. But on.